Hey you guys, it's Dani. Today I am doing a bit of a review slash comparison in a way with the original tarot. Now this is an RWS deck. I was contacted by Siren Imports, who puts out this deck. This is Brigh, I hope I'm saying that right. But it was produced by Siren Imports, and they wanted me to do a bit of a review of this, so I thought I would do a review and kind of a comparison with the ones that I do have. Now I did alter the deck that is most comparable to it, so and that's going to be the Rider-Waite deck, or the Rider, what is it, how does it say, it's in two different places. The Rider-Waite tarot deck on this side and the Rider tarot deck on this side. This is fairly old. This is the one that, if you've seen some of my other videos, I aged a bit. So I do have this as a comparison. This is going to be the closest one to it. Like I said, I did age it a bit, but I think that it's going to be a pretty good comparison, because here's what they're saying about the original tarot. They say it's the classic design, of course, Pamela Coleman Smith's artwork, but it has a linen finish, crisp graphics, so that's kind of like a big thing. They're vectorized graphics with enhanced colors to give a premium, non-pixelated image. Thick cardstock, this is supposed to be on 350 GSM, and branding free for a more authentic experience is what it says. And this comes with a nice little book, so let's go ahead and open it and see how it compares. Also, I have with me my Centennial Edition. Now again, not speaking towards the colors, because the colors are muted in this deck and it is borderless, which is why I love it so much. But I guess I kind of want to see, because these do have kind of pixelated graphics. Let's see if we can kind of get close on that. I don't know if it will. Maybe once I put the top, the tabletop shot, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But there is slight pixelation and lines within the colors and things. The colors and lines on this deck for sure. It doesn't bother me much, but I know it's hard to see. Whereas this one, because I did age it a bit, but it's not, especially on camera, it's not as noticeable. But I did put a little bit of aging on it, but you can still see the images fairly well. So we'll see how it compares and how this goes to the original tarot. So let's take it down and check it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into this. Let's see. Now I picked only a few, it's kind of hard to open, a few cards from each. We're going to compare a few majors, one from each of the minors, and a court card. I figured that would kind of go along with the whole scope of things. So let's see what's in this box. Okay. So we have the Key to Tarot. Now, I don't have the little booklet that was in here. I keep mine in a bag that I made. But all I have in here are a few of the extra cards that this one came with, which is like Pixie's artwork. I don't have a guidebook. I don't remember if it came with one or not, so I can't compare that one, but this one did have one, and it's still in there, which is, where did I put it? Right here, this little booklet here. So it's very basic US games, a little booklet. This one is all in English. It has the Celtic cross spread, the art of divination, just a little book. But this one is quite a little bit bigger, but it has colored pages, a nice little description of each. Let's see, the deck kind of says what it represents. It looks like it does fire, wands to fire, cups to water, kind of tells you about that. A little 3-card spread, tips, kind of where to look for Jewish, Christian, Egyptian, astrological, and other symbols for deeper meanings. So we have a full color page and a description for our major. The minor, looks like we have what they're associated with, and then smaller descriptions. It is a really nice little booklet. I really like that. What does it have in the back here? Oh, some more spreads. Let's see. Other spreads. Pentagram spread. The Celtic cross, of course. And then example readings. So that's pretty neat. It's like 100 pages, but it's nicely put together. It's a cute little book. Okay. So here we go. Check this out. They do not have glare on these cards as bad as these two, which I thought was pretty great, because glare will definitely make or break a deck when you're doing stuff like this. I mean, everybody who does Instagram with their cards or YouTube knows the glare struggle. So I thought that right away was pretty awesome. So anyway, let me take those overheads off and so we can see, and then I'll kind of zoom in a little bit closer. Okay, so here we are with a couple of cards just to kind of go through and see any kind of differences. So I will say that the Rider Tarot deck does not have the handwritten titles, so that is going to be different. So not speaking of that, but just as the cards as a whole, how these kind of all compare. I mean, you can notice right away where the shirt sleeve is. These two have that line through it, but these are filled in, and it seems like just doing kind of a quick flip through and looking through them to get the cards that kind of to show everything, that's the main difference, is the crisp, solid coloring where there's normally kind of like edges. So that would be the main difference for me in this card, is just the noticeable sleekness of it. We do have color changes with the shoes, a little bit more vibrant background, the cliff color wise, whereas these are all kind of mushed together. This is more distinct between the differences. A little bit clearer on the bag, a little bit clearer on the face here. Then we have the Tower. Now you can definitely see the shading here, but it looks like digital art versus this one that kind of looks a little more, I don't know, kind of flows better with the contrast of the Tower versus this that kind of looks like it was spray painted, you know? I don't know. So I will say that. Even these have a little bit of like etching in the clouds. But the biggest thing that I noticed, I mean, aside from the color changes, just little color changes, which is no big deal, is the faces on this. These, you can really see the faces, whereas these you really can't. Other than that, in the clouds, which I don't really care for, because it just looks like somebody didn't finish, like it's not blended well. Other than that, they're pretty comparable. But the faces in those clouds, I'm not a huge fan of. Then we have the Moon. And again, you can really see the crispness of it, whereas these kind of look like they have all the lines, these just don't. And that seems to be our main difference, which is what they said. They cleaned it up, they made it clear, they made it bright and vibrant, which they did. Now move on to the Five of Cups. again, we have the difference here. Now this one has green, whereas these more look like water. More of a yellow tone. But I find that this rider deck, I mean, it is yellow, and which is a big reason why I even put the ink on top to kind of tone it down, was because that vibrant yellow was just so in your face. But I find that most things are tinted with yellow in this deck, so I feel like these two kind of show a little bit more of like the greenery, whereas this looks more desolate. So, but again, we have the grays, but you can see that solid gray background. This one was a lot lighter. You can really see that it took that ink that I put on there. But yeah. So anyway. Now this is another one where the background faces, these smaller faces, just don't translate as well. Like with here, you can see the nose. The nose is almost non-existent here. And you can see the face very well in this one. And more of it. But again, very sleek. There was this. Now, I thought there was something on the card. I thought it was just a little, I don't know, piece of fuzz. But it's not. This appears to be a bit of a printing error. And you can see, as I turn this, you can see the linen finish on the cards. You can see where I tried to like scratch it. I thought it was something. But you can see that finish, which is a really nice finish. We'll talk about that in a bit, but I really like that. So yeah, I looked through the other ones, and that was the only one that did that. So, I don't know, maybe just a little printing error. So this one I find is one of the most, like, whoa, this has definitely been digitized. I mean, you could tell with everything, but I don't know why I thought this one looked so very cartoonish. More so than the other ones. The face is, again, not as expressive in a way. I don't know what it is about the faces in the original, but I don't know, like, I just don't feel like it has as much personality. That might just be me, though. So, you can definitely see the vibrant colors, which I do like. But yeah, it's like, this one almost changed the style look to it. I don't know. I know you can hear my AC going on and off. It's hot and humid over here today, so I apologize. But we can't do without it. So yeah, so there we go there. Then we have this Eight of Swords, which I thought you could really see the difference in like the lining and the groundwork, how big of a difference that it was here. I will give it to him that it does look very clean. We have our Queen of Swords, which I found her face was not as bad. And I say bad, it's not like they're terrible, but they're different, right? But this one I found it wasn't all that different, so I really did like that. And then for the last one, it was a wowza. Like, that is some pink. But again, I feel like the face gets a bit washed out. We don't have that hard chin line, but we get a lot of pink. A lot of pink. It's definitely not bad. Not bad at all. But it did stand out from the crowd. When I was flipping through, I was like, whoa. So there we have it. Just a quick flip through. Now I will talk a little bit about the cardstock, which is really great. So I know that you guys could see when I kind of tilt it, you can see that linen finish, which is really nice. These are the backs. I don't know if you can really see those. Now the backs even have some of the, like, still have the texture on them. But as weird as it is, like, you can see the texture, you can feel it mostly on the front. You can't feel it as much on the back, but you can kind of see it. but they don't feel exceptionally textured. I don't know, it's like a weird phenomenon. I guess like my brain wants it to feel like this on both sides because it looks that way. But it isn't. It's a little more sleek on the back. They bend really well. They shuffle really well. They seem to be really sturdy. Oh. So they seem to be like a really sturdy. I would definitely recommend this one. Mostly because of the quality of the cardstock. Because I will say, my poor old US games, like the cardstock is super thin. I'm kind of close, let me push this back. This one is really thin. And guys, I mean, I've had this forever. These are the backs here. But yeah, they're really, it's thin. I mean, it's withstood the test of time for these. So definitely not a bad deck. But these are for sure thicker. Same with these. These I find are a little more stiff than the original. These have a little more, I don't know, snap to them, if you will. Now these have the copyright. These don't have a copyright at all, which is I think why they said like the branding on them. There's no little US Games branding, which doesn't bother me all that much on this deck. But yeah, these are a little more stiff, but they are durable because I use these a lot as well. There's a little wear and tear on these, but not much compared to what some of my other decks do. It's pretty sturdy. I find that they are pretty much neck and neck, just a little bit. It's got a little bit more height on that one, and then this one, of course, is way down there. I don't know if you can even see that. I'm gonna show it. There we go. That's a huge difference. Whereas this one, they are almost identical. We just got a little bit on that. So that is the original tarot. I really do like this deck, and it will be used in my collection. Like I said, I didn't have, this was the only like kind of regular RWS that I had aside from my Centennial, which I consider to be a little more rustic. So this will be a great new addition to my tarot collection. I don't think I'm going to do anything to this one since this one has been put through the ringer. I think I'm just going to leave as is. The borders are not big and obnoxious. The coloring is not really, really obnoxious either. All the yellows you can see have been toned down, which I do like because that was my biggest gripe for this deck. You know, that's the whole point. You can even see, like, I tried to tone it down and some of them still are not as toned down. So I do appreciate that within this deck. So there we have it, the original tarot. So I hope this was helpful in some way, shape, or form, you guys. I wanted to do that. Like I said, they asked me to review it, so I definitely wanted to give it a good go. So I think this is a really great buy. It's a really nice deck. And like I said, they had that one little printing error, it seems to be, on the 6 of Wands. I don't know if that was just on mine or if that's like a thing. So that would be the only, there it is. That would be the only thing I have to say that was kind of disappointing. But I'm sure that I can contact them and say, hey, you know, one of my cards have a spot on them. So I'm sure they'd be more than happy to help. I will definitely reach out to them and see. But none of the other ones have it. So hopefully it was just a quick little error that can be fixed. No big deal. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm sending you all my love. Mwah. Later, Gators.